Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another commentary. This time we are covering Don't Make Me Get My Mind, which is Go7's alt account, and Humita, who is a very strong player, but not at the level of Go7. But even though this is going to be a very interesting matchup, because it's first on an S rank map, not that other maps that are not on S rank could be fun, but I love this map. It has been a while since it has come to league. It has come to league, global league recently, and since then I was looking for a match to comment on it, because trying to play on global league once you have only one game per time, it's quite hard. There is a lot of games, so I was resigned to just try to find to comment a map on it, and I was not successful all the matches, and I didn't find something spicy. But yesterday I was watching Go7 stream before going to sleep, and he was like, "Hi Cynic, I have a match on a Scavenger. I would like you to comment about." And I was like, "Fucking yes!" Excuse me. Yes, man. Yes. I'm so happy. So it's. I assume I didn't double check, but I would assume it's tier 2, and we are playing Olaf against Grid. Why is Grid? Normally, Grid on a standard he is banned for sanity and purposes because he breaks a lot of maps, not because he's on tier 0 level. He's almost there, but I couldn't say. But on Fog, he is tier 1. Why? Not because Fog is worse for Indurets. Actually, Fog benefits Indurets gameplay, but the way of the maps are built. Fog maps are meant to, well, they are designed in a way to prevent people to spam Indurets, to make a wall with the forest and simply stall you to death. And if that was a play style that dominate, Reed could be tier 0 clearly, but it's not. And this map is very open. There is a lot of souls, quite a lot of roads, so there is a lot of movement that allows. And also the weak side here is quite exposed, so if you are not careful, you could be losing your HQ within some turns. Depending on the matchup, could be harder or more difficult to do so. For example, if you're playing against Sammy on tier 4, I think she's a pretty decent pick on this map because of the HQ exposure. You are gonna have a hard time if you don't pay attention to the HQ. Anyways, I think Grid here is tier 2 for the reason that it's even a more open map than normal. Front switch is more common than normal, and Grid hates front switching, hates open maps. He likes choky. He likes as little as number of fronts, different fronts as possible. And Olaf likes the opposite. Olaf likes to outmaneuver the opponent, make use of the snow. So you go to attack in one side, you pop the Winter Fury, then your opponent has a harder time to answer. And yeah, I think I am not living. Yeah, well, this map also has the pipes. If you are not familiar with this map, you have to break one of the pipes. It's gonna be very useful. You don't have to do it right away, but it's gonna help you to reinforce faster in your strong side if you are blue, or your weak side. I would recommend to destroy this one most of the time, unless you have some other plans. Maybe a Go7 or Humita will surprise us, but I expect them to break this one. Not immediately, but fairly early in the game. Anyways, let's just straight jump to the match, guys. So, let's see. Normal infantry wheels, rushing the neutral base. Goes Ghost 7 is rushing the airport as well. He's probably maybe thinking of a T-copter. Also, he skipped this city in order to capture either of those two cities, which is fine in my opinion, since it will only cost 1k, but it will strong exponentially the capture game. And against all of you want to get off hold of the middle properties as early as possible, because Olaf is very hard to capture contested properties once you are into the mid game and Winter Fury comes into play. Humita went for the airport later, then Go 7 2 turns later. So yeah, T-copter, and gonna probably boost this infantry and then stay within range of the base. So I'm thinking of a place that this T-copter is gonna be useful. I'm not seeing one right away. I have already commented this map on the channel. It was I think it was a Drake Mirror, the very second video I recorded almost 1 year ago. Yeah, it was on the placement I was thinking it was the most sensible. Okay, artillery as grid, not recon, which might provide you vision, but what is your recon gonna do apart from telling you that you are gonna get a screw? And grid recon is not gonna be very strong to interrupt caps anyways. Even in your strong side as grid, you are not you're gonna be behind on income if you are grid. You have to assume that, but you don't mind because your vehicles are cheaper. And why is that? Because you want to spam a 6k artillery instead of tanks and copters, etc. You want to wheel maybe 1 or 2 copters. I couldn't hate you for that, but you don't want to abuse them, certainly. So the army composition for grid is much more cheaper, and that makes him not have such a bad time, even though he's naturally behind on income. Just for the sake, tanks are gonna be much faster on movement, and the sense that they can move and shoot. Artillery cannot do that, so they are gonna cover much more terrain. Same with recons. Against a grid, you want to spam light units. So we can see already, I mean, this is not something out of the ordinary. You want to wield these units on early game, but you want to wield also a lot of copters. And the reason for that is you normally against grid, you will fall behind on KDA. You will die more than you kill. Basically, you attack you spot one infantry, you attack it with another unit, maybe you kill it or not, and then you get retaliate with indirects, and you have to break through him. But you have the advantage of having more units because you are gonna use a lot more your airport and grid, and you are able to do that because you have more income. Anyways, Go 7 making use of this T-copter to help his weak side and building a mech, which is a thing I really like with grid, because mechs are hit as hard as tanks in the sense of base stats, but as grid they hit much more harder because grid has not penalty for infantry and mechs, so they are basically stronger tanks. They moved only 2, yeah, but they are pretty good. Okay, I like double tank into your strong side. One the problem with Olaf plan that I just realized now is that how is he supposed to break the pipe with our artillery, because you don't want to wield most of the time an artillery unless there is a very obvious reason, and I can maybe crosstown, cross country rivalry. You know the map that a missile blocks the airport. Maybe you want to wheel even then against grid and artillery, but normally your artillery will get zoned out by grid's artillery. So if you want to wheel any indirect for any reason, you want to wheel rockets, because they will be able to add zone the the enemy artillery, and the minimal range penalty is not that big of a deal because grid is not gonna charge into you normally. But anyways, as we can see, they are equal on income. Go 7 goes for this aggressive capture. He's maybe gonna get interrupted, uh, unless, but only if he is spotted with this infantry and then stops one of the caps to do interrupt, which he can perfectly do. Yeah, he will have to stop this capture or this capture. You don't want to stop this capture at all because it's very hard to get, but you probably want to stop this capture because it's not that hard to get. Even less hard against grid because grid will be much more slower to get into this area, even it's his strong side. And if you manage to deny this city, as all of you will have an easier time at least denying it from the enemy. So, oh look, a black boat. I find it very interesting, and I see the reason behind it. uh, these black boats are very sturdy. I mean, they are not gonna wall against a submarine, any naval unit, but against how you call it, ground units, they are very sturdy. And one of the issues that grid has in fog is walling, because sorry, walling in fog is much more harder than in standard, because you don't know exactly within range of how many units your wall is, what composition the enemy has, etc. So a black boat, although it can also repair, so not only being sturdy but will help, if you put it on the middle, you are gonna control the middle much more. So I really, I it's kind of a spicy spectrum play, but I see it working. Uh, it's very risky. Anyways, let's see if Humita spots this infantry. It's not likely, to be honest, because you will have to go either here, or with this infantry. No, you cannot spot it. Now, he's not gonna stop it because he already captured with these two, which I don't. I mean, the thing is, this looks the obvious place, no? Capture with your infantry first, and then you move. But even though, yeah, you have to get the vision first. For example, attacking with a recon, moving your infantry, but he doesn't know that. It is. I'm not gonna blame him for doing that. Also, one thing he might have to consider is doing something about this, because it's gonna make him have a tempo loss, but for the long game it's gonna impact well for him. But versus grid is very important to don't let him set up, because once grid setups, non-CO can touch him. Like if you have a ball of artillery here, you're not gonna be able to charge into that. Maybe if you are Javier and you do superpower, but still you are gonna hold for one turn, then you are gonna yeet, and then you are gonna die next turn. So even as Javier, one tower Javier, It's not a match for a setup grid. Well, maybe Eagle can do something about it with superpower, but yeah, as we can see, super light units, you want to spam those as many light vehicles because you don't want to give any big how you call it, big objective, juicy objectives for Reed. It's gonna make him have a valuable target. Okay, and this is one of the strengths of Reed. He is now covering this infantry by being within 3 tiles. So this is super strong. Unless you have an artillery or a copter in range, which he has, you are not stopping this. So it's very dangerous. And I couldn't be surprised if Go 7 wills now an anti-air in this base, because it's the only weakness he has on this death wall here. Let's see if I'm right about it. Okay, he's getting control of the middle, and this infantry is not being covered, but it's not like, yeah, the mech is covering it, and the mech is being covered by the artillery. So yeah, I think this is a pretty solid position right now. Very scary. Okay, more mechs. I like it. I'm not a hater. And an anti-air. Okay, okay. I love it when I try to predict something and I get the nail on the coffin, you know? Okay, they are equal on income, which is not a good thing to be against Grid, and maybe let's see how it evolves. Grid is getting control of this area, which is good for him, but he's gonna lose this property, which is gonna put, okay, he sacrificed 1 infantry, but his copter is not in range of denying it next turn. So unless he's about to sack another infantry next turn, he's not gonna stop this cap. Let's see. Okay, double infantry, copter tank. That's the classic build. I love it. Recon that by artillery fire. Okay, now the anti-air is on place to how you call it, reinforce this position, but this is just the extra. You probably want to also move around here because you have seen the copter here. Although you could expect copters coming from this area, there is no pressure being done here, but here. So you want to bring your anti-air where the pressure is being dealt first. Go 7 doesn't want to allow this capture. As you can see, there is 4 points, so if you attack with this, it's gonna fall to 3 HP, which will make him have more turn of time. But the problem is he's gonna have a hard time holding it because this artillery is not covering these 2 infantries, and he can use cap next turn. And if he wants to sack the next infantry, Grid is gonna run dry on infantry, which is the bone core of his army, because it's what prevents him from getting Jit, like it's the main wall he has. Okay, using the mech in a very I'm not liking this mech unless you cover with another artillery. I mean, but this artillery is super exposed right now. I mean, it's covered by 2 other artillery. Okay. Oh, wait. Why it has some 1, 2, 3, 4. It has 1 more range than it should have. Don't mind it. Okay, he's going double anti-air into his weak side. This mech is gonna die probably, but now Humita knows this mech is covered, but at least 1 artillery. Maybe there is another here, but for now, yeah, look, this artillery, it's fine. Remember, you are gonna be behind on KDA against Grid, but you want to keep trading, because if you are trading against Grid, since you have more vehicles than him, because you spam the airport much more, it's fine to do uneven engagements. Also, Grid gets much more time doing the setup, in counterpart as the direct units that they come, they move, they shoot, and they don't care. Grid has to move, and then next turn maybe shoot, but yeah, as we can see, the indirects stay exposed. Okay, right now, Grid comes on top of income, which is not something bad for him, but wow, that was a high roll. But it's not like it's gonna make him win anyways. But he's getting a lot of kills. I'm gonna check the KDA after this turn. Okay, the copter got trapped. I mean, you can attack with this recon here. Yeah, but the artillery is gonna cover. You're gonna bleed a lot. Okay, this artillery seems like it's not covering anything, but keep in mind next turn, Grid can do the CO power, which will increase for one the range. And I'm liking a lot Ghost 7 position right now. He is not overdoing with engagements, but he's trading pretty nicely, and he has managed to be ahead on income. Now Olaf is able to take some properties that he didn't capture yet. And rule number 1 against indirects spam, Grid player, is to attack where the indirects are not, and they are gonna be able to do nothing. Yeah, maybe this recon is gonna die to a super power of Grid next turn, but I mean, if the enemy see a power with it's gonna threaten a recon next turn, that's the last of your worries. Okay, so the recon kills the infantry, the copter leaves, and a tank kills the artillery remaining. Very important to kill the artillery against Grid, because if you don't, Grid is gonna repair them, and it's not that big of a deal. Repair artillery is just 1200 income, and you can still wheel some artillery, some anti-air, or whatever you want. So yeah. Look, mechs are so useful. They almost one-shot recons. They do as much as tanks, basically. That was a fresh recon, that's why it didn't one-shot. But if it had chip damage, it was very likely to be a one-hit KO. Because remember, the fractal HP is not show, because HP in Advanced Wars goes from 0, which is dead, 1, the minimum, and then to 100. Pipes have 99, but the maximum HP is 100. So if you, for example, harass some infantry with a vehicle, then the infantry is gonna do to 1 to 4 damage, and that will be taken into account for the next engagement. So maybe your tank, okay, missile, is gonna be much more damage than you expected next turn. Grid didn't pop the CO power. There was no reason for it. Not UC targets. And at the end of the day, if you can pop your CO power 2 times in a row, or maybe if you have a reason to do the superpower to surprise your opponent, I'm not a big fan of Grid superpower, but if you are able to, there is the threat. You know, you are not you are gonna be slightly more limited to your movement, although it's fog, so you don't know, so you might commit the blunder, quote unquote, to put your very precious tank into artillery range. Anyways, you need a lot of recons against grid, not only because it's a light unit that will help you to attack the artillery, the infantry, the mechs, etc., but also because you need a lot of vision control, because you need to know exactly as much as you can where grid is. So recons on this map, recons are naturally strong because of the lack of mountains to control vision. There is only 6 mountains, 2 of them, well, 4 of them within the range of the base, so basically they are not very useful for intel, and 1 of them on the weak side. So if you fight anywhere in the middle, you're gonna be blind unless you have some sort of recon. Let's see. The missile here is not a very bad play because, as you can see, it has very clear path towards the strong side of grid. There is only one plane blocking it. So once it gets here, it's gonna control a lot of space, and you can move it quite easily. There is no forest forced for this middle base, so I like it a lot. Nice shot with the anti-air. You want to get a lot of anti-airs, not a lot, but at least 2 or 3 as grid, because they still one-shot copters, and they still well, they basically deal with copters as well as any other copters. So yeah, they are 90 power, 100% power if you are on a power because of the com tower. So they are basically a normal anti-air, and anti-air already one shots everything, so it's completely fine. Okay, I like this a lot. This black boat is blocking, as you can see. If next turn Grid gets the superpower, he's forcing Olaf to attack from the tiles that he has the most indirects prepared to shoot. If he attacks from here, he will only have this indirect prepared to attack. So very nice. Put the recon on the forest. So a recon on a forest, it's never gonna die unless you go against something like Max and he has an infantry to rebel and then a tank to one shot. And even though a recon is not a very easy target for a tank wants to attack other vehicles. Yeah, recons are vehicles, but you know they are not a threat to other vehicles unless they are indirects. Okay. He pops the Winter Fury as soon as possible. This front right now is scrambling. It needs some support. But the problem as Grid is that this support now with the snow, and because the nature of your army composition, is gonna take a lot to reinforce this area. So right now if Humita punish this area a lot, he's gonna come on top. So let's see. He's capping this city. I like it a lot because now it's from him. Kills the anti-air. I love it. Even though it's gonna probably cost this tank, it's completely fine. Remember, it's okay to die a lot against Grid as long as you denied him setting up. And Humita snipe attack. Okay, that's a power. I don't know the names of Grid powers. That's a shame because of the Winter Fury extra defense and the extra damage. This artillery was not able to one-shot the recon, so this infantry is not able to kill to interrupt the capture. And because of the snow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, this recon was not in range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even though without the snow, it couldn't have reached to kill this recon. So this was a very, very nice wall, because you don't want to wall with your most valuable unit if you can wall with the other less valuable, if it still does the job. I mean, it's a death of a recon, but you have to draw grid as much as possible. Okay, so grid join it to artillery in order to get some units built from the bases, but he gets a battleship, and now these battleships, look at the range. Now this has 8 range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know why it shows 10, but battleships have from 1 to 6 normal range. Grid adds 1 more, CO power, an extra one, so it's 8, not 10. So don't look at this. I don't know why it's a bit buggy, but don't worry, guys. Okay, these 2 artillery are completely crippled. He keeps capping a lot. He's bringing a copter's tank to this area. He didn't destroy this pipe, but I think it's fine, because the loss of tempo is something you cannot afford against grid. It might be the difference of grid hitting the critical mass of artillery or not. So yeah, like units, there is an argument to will an anti-air against grid. I mean, it's gonna help you to wall break, and if grid is now TM wheels bomber or something like that, because right now with this unit composition, if grid wheels a bomber, which is gonna be a weak bomber like a Drake one, you have no answer, and you don't want to wheel a fighter in case of that. An anti-air is gonna be enough. I think it's a fair purchase. I don't hate it. It's on the safe end of things, but I think I like it. By Humita. Humita right now is 2k ahead on income, which is the natural state, in my opinion. You normally are gonna be ahead against grid unless you are losing. I would say right now Humita is slightly winning. As you can see, at the end of Go 7 turn, he's even behind on Army Value. Don't take how you call it, unit count into much of balance for this, because remember, grid is gonna have less units will, but he's gonna kill more, suppose. Okay, let's check if grid actually killed more. Yeah, grid killed 22 and died 20, and he just lost 2 units. So yeah, at the end of Olaf turn, Olaf will end up maybe killing more, but still, you get what I mean. Humita right now is slightly winning, even more than that, because this front is completely crumbling, and Humita, the only thing he has to do right now is capitalize on the captures. Did the missile get a shoot? Yeah. I mean, grid missiles on scavengers are not a joke. Like, 8 HP is gonna obliterate any air unit, and they have a nice time, an easy time to get to the front line, in the at least in the strong side. So I think it's very nice. This battleship is gonna control this area. Okay, now the range is normalized. So even though you won't be able to donate these cities from here, it's fine. I mean, you are 4k behind. That's not the end of the world for Reed, but you are gonna start like you are 5k behind now. It's something to be concerned about because right now with 24 income, Humita could wheel double tank, copter, and infantry every single turn. So that's 3 vehicles. Mm, that's a lot. Oh my god. He gets the missile, and because he knows. Well, he has spotted, but he knew that he got shot at the T-copter by a B-copter with a missile. And now Ghost 7, even though he's coming with an anti-air next turn, he was relying on this missile to control the B-copters away. And now Humita is getting a lot of captures, so Ghost 7 is gonna fall down on income, and here comes the stealth. Okay, the true counter against greed isn't stealth, and the reason for that is you completely force greed to wheel a fighter to counter your stealth, because the only unit that can hit an stealth is an stealth itself or a fighter. And yeah, and greed doesn't like to wheel fighters at all. I mean, it's not terrible, but he would rather rely on anti-air and missiles instead. Okay, let's see if the snipe attack does anything useful. Okay, 2 tanks, 3 tanks. That was a tank? No, that was an infantry. Good. Another kill using the T-copter with 6 fuel to get vision of a tank. Nice. Okay, that was an infantry. Not the best use of a battleship. Okay, I like this. It's just in range of the battleship, but coming towards the middle. Well, you already have this anti-air here, but you never know. Maybe one of not this one, probably gonna get attacked, but this. Well, now with this sturdy wall, I don't think so. But remember, very soon is gonna come the second Winter Fury, which is gonna be very, very devastating in my opinion. Right now, in this state of the match, you want to keep trading because you know you are quite ahead on income. So even though it's greed and greed doesn't mind to be that behind on income, if you keep trading, eventually, also as someone as Olaf, you will come on top. So Greed right now wants to stabilize the game, but now this front got captured, and pushing farther for the HQ cap could be very, 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 very hard to do, and would give Greed a lot of room here. He stops pressuring on this area and instead goes for the kill here. So as you can see, a very not a front switch, because the units from here didn't go here. He simply stopped bringing reinforcements to this area and break everything into this one. But I like it because now Greed, unless he somehow manages to win this fight, he's gonna lose a lot of properties. And if Greed falls farther down in income, he's not gonna win at all, because being behind on income is fine. Being more behind than this of income, it's gonna be very crippled. And remember, it's gonna be a Winter Fury turn next time, so that's gonna be bad. And okay, Winter Fury, guys. Winter Fury. Look at the value. For one, oh my god, it's like 30,000 of damage with a Winter Fury, and now comes the, oh my god. I mean, this attack just kill a couple of units, but the fact that you lose so much value and you are gonna be forced to pay a lot for it. I mean, the battleship, the base units, the city ones. It's gonna be quite a lot, and you are gonna be another stealth. I mean, why not? Either Grid somehow manage to buy a fighter with 10,000, or he's gonna have a hard time against the stealth. And probably Go 7, once he sees the stealth, he's gonna resign. I could so. And this is a bad thing about Grid anti-air. When they get crippled, they are not as good to deal against Bicopters. I mean, they completely counter them yet, but they don't one-shot. And yeah, this looks like a very scary death ball, but Humita has vision of this artillery, so he just can back up and push now here once you see a lot of indirects play. Because if there is a lot of indirects play, it means there is not as much here. So anyways, let's see. Look, at the end of Roll 7 turn, he's almost 20k behind on value. That's a symptom of being behind. And the unit count is not very good neither. Humita sacks the 3 HP Bicopter to get some vision and damage a bit the artillery, which I think is completely fine. You're not gonna do anything else with the copter. Against a normal CO, you could argue you want to keep it so you can one-shot, two-hit KO enemy copters with the help of this damage copter. Or maybe if you want to stall a bit more, you could retreat with the P-copter and keep it safe here and repair it, and in 3 or 4 turns you have almost a healthy P-copter. But against Grid is all about switching, front switching, tempo, deny Grid setting up, and being aggressive. So it's a very fun matchup to play against Grid and as Grid, because playing as Grid is very fun to shoot things with your indirects. So I think the problem with Grid is once he gets to the point of being obnoxious with the chokiness and etc. But if it's balanced, it's a very nice CO to play against. I like a lot this unit join, and the reason for that is he basically has to lower the amount of his investment and on this area and put it somewhere else, and that's basically a fighter that he needs very badly. I don't know if he has seen last turn the stealth. No, he has not. But you might expect Go 7 to see the weakness of his army composition right now. So if he doesn't will a fighter now, he's gonna have a hard time. Let's see. Okay, the battleships. Oh my god, and this is now crippled, and also it's gonna make him pay a lot for it. So that's gonna hurt his economy. He's losing a lot of kills, and yeah, he's gonna lose more properties, at least one on the middle, because yeah, this property is supposed to belong to the blue player, but the thing as Grid is you have harder time to hold in it because the safe you cannot hold it right now, because look at how is Grid supposed to wall his units. He hardly has any infantry, So the only thing that is gonna get hits is valuable units, or maybe the black boats. So Grid right now is a very bad position. He's not gonna be able to attack the stealth. Okay, sacks the recon and the anti-air to interrupt the capture. I don't hate it, because you are covering them and you have charge to pop a power next turn, if I remember correctly. Okay. He keeps capping here. I mean, Winter Fury is popping next turn, so you want to keep the pressure, and he's bringing next turn a tank to deal with this anti-air and this recon if they want to keep interrupting this, and he's also pressuring this, so yeah, I don't think it's too bad. Okay, Grid gets the stealth in. Yeah, look at this. It's not even that big of a deal. But now the battleship it's in range to hold the city. And these black boats, I'm liking them a lot. They are being very useful at doing walling and helping the infantry to get into places. And yeah, it's still, look, now there is coming a Winter Fury, but I like a lot Humita position because he has for sure the upper hand right now, but it's not won yet. Like, Grid has been able to manage a comeback last few turns, but okay, this tank probably got trapped, that's why it's not moving. And oh my god. Yeah. Yep. Grid is forced to wheel another fighter, but he's gonna be forced to pay more for repairs of it. And yeah, fighters on snow are very crippled, they only move 4, so it's gonna be bad. The Winter Fury is very... Okay, let me check. Yeah, the tank that was here got trapped into this forest. Let's see. A snipe attack. So, as you can see, Ghost 7 is not fully charged. And he, instead of popping his CO power right away, because he's planning to use the CO power right away, he attacks this anti-air, which is gonna get 2 hit KO regardless with these 2 units. So he gets more power charge. So he is doing something that most players, even good players, don't do. And it's very, very, very important to squish as much as you can, because if you are gonna get free charge, don't say no to it. You have to get it. Anyways, Grid is starting to get to a point that he's getting that critical mass, but he has the pressure of being quite behind on value, and against a stealth fighter, and another which is damaged, but still is gonna be able to do at least blocking. But we can see that Grid is quite set up, not completely, but the problem right now is the army composition and the lack of walling on infantry he has. He kills the battleship, gets shoot and artillery. Yeah. And see, this position that look scary now with a good use of units, it's now not... there is only 1 artillery hidden on the forest. So yeah, this is now falling. And this is the weakness of Grid zone. And now Humid is capping a lot of cities. So 7 is gonna have a hard time. But he is able to reveal the other stealth pops a snipe attack, and let's see. APC dead, attack on anti-air, shoot on a tank, tank kill, tank kill, tank kill. Okay, that's a lot of kills. But remember, right now with 7 is very behind on value. The Winter Fury is start to getting noticed, and in a few turns there is coming another one, and now Grid is behind 8k. That's a big amount. That's not even playable as Eagle. You don't want to be never that behind on income, unless there is a map with 50k of income where the income is not that valuable. If you you are now ahead on income, 1/3 of your total income is it's nuts. It's very concerning. Anyways, now Humita has the unit count advantage, so he's pressuring everywhere. But you have to be careful because you lost the advantage of the stealths, so you have to move carefully. And Go 7 just startles up. He recognizes that he has to do so in order to hold the position. And the stealth, even at 3 HP, is gonna be able to get some vision, because they have 4 vision that they are almost like a recon. They are gonna be impossible to shoot at unless you have a fighter, which is here not in range. So this is very nice. Stealths are very useful even if they are weakened. Excuse me. Okay, let's see. The fighter gets a shoot at the copter. Okay, I like it. Interrupts the cap. You have to interrupt that cap. You cannot fall further on income, and you have to. I mean, the problem is you don't know if there is a third stealth, and if there is a third stealth and get a shoot at your fighter, you're gonna die because you won't have a counter. So you might be forced to do it. And yeah, I could say right now the win condition by Humita right now is just to keep trading and maybe squeeze one more property away from Goal 7, and that could be the death sentence. Winter Fury. Goal 7 was already behind on unit count, unit value, but right now look, he's half of the value of Olaf. So yeah, and Humit is capping 2 more cities. If Humit is able to capture these 2 cities, I would say the game is already won for him. But let's see. Okay, shoot at the copter, repair before shooting, but nothing. Yeah, it's a resign. He had no way of interrupting this capture. I mean, he could have done an engagement here to pop the CO power, to hold for one more turn, to interrupt this, but even though this will get captured anyways, and this will die, and yeah, this will die, you would get HQ capture. Yeah, it was doomed for, at this point, for Go 7. It was a very interesting matchup, and see how, I love Grid gameplay because it's a very dynamic CO to play against. You have to play you have to play in a way I love, and also the unit composition, light units. You don't want to build neo tanks. I'm not a hater of neo tanks or medium tanks, but I like to spam light units. So playing against grid, it's so recomforting because it rewards your my favorite play style. One thing I missed this game was a medium tank by grid, but yeah, it's a medium tank by grid is very useful because of the defense value. Because against grid you want to wheel light units, a lot of them, but what light units have a hard time against, even copters, against medium tanks? Because if a medium tank is walling, you you won't be able to kill it with 2 3 copters. I mean, if you get 3 shoots with copters against a medium tank, something was wrong with that medium tank positioning. But what I want, my point is that you will get 2 or 1 shots with your copters at the medium tank at most, and then the anti-airs or the missile prepared to cover that medium tank will get the kills, and it will be a bad trade for you. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. It was a very interesting match. Thank you both Seven and Humite for letting me review it, and hope you guys enjoyed. Well, I think I said that already. Anyways, bye bye guys. Bye bye.